and welcome to the wonderful Accra Esports talk show. And it's with me, Chrissy Hayford, and I'm happy to bring you this edition with a wonderful personality. Um, me and Nee have spoken a lot of times, and he has passion. He has the zeal. He has the everything to make your day today. So if you have the time to spend it with us tonight, it's wonderful for you to come. I want to welcome you to this program, and I believe that you're going to have a great time with me tonight on Accra Esports Week Talk, which is a virtual talk sponsored by Pop Out and in partnership with the Esports Association, together with Joy FM, My Joy Online, Pre Province, Otium, um, um, Motherland Gaming as well. So if you just join in, just subscribe and like this production, and subscribe to the channel as well. All right, so without much ado, let's go to the one and only. Hey, Nee, welcome.
Thank you.
Ah, so we together with you and me, we've been talking a little bit, but today is about you, about how your journey into the esports and the gaming. How did it start for you?
Okay. It started probably around 1984 when my dad introduced me to a really old computer called the Sinclair QL. And he brought a
Wow,
joystick for playing some asteroid games, and that's what got me hooked into gaming.
amazing, amazing. And was what was your very first game?
Meteor Storm.
Oh, okay. But uh, let's retrace back. How was your childhood like with gaming?
I wasn't allowed to have a console when I was growing up, but there was always a computer in the house. And my parents liked gaming as well.
Oh,
So
wow.
they were okay if I was playing video games on a computer. They
Mm-hmm.
just didn't want me playing it on a console.
Whoa.
So I spent most of my childhood years playing games strictly on from DOS and Windows. Before I got into consoles much later on,
Oh, okay.
probably around 89 or something.
Well, did you have like other siblings who also were into these video games, or it was only particular to you? Others were.
My I was the youngest out of my siblings,
Oh, wow.
and I don't know what it was, but my dad had a very strong interest in computers, and I think I was the one who picked up on the whole computing thing the most. So
Okay.
he always made sure that I had access to one, and I could mess around with it quite a lot.
Whoa. 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 Okay. So after that journey of you so basically there was a computer at home almost all the time, right?
Almost all the time.
Most of the time. No, but you picked one game, and that you've pivoted for probably more than 20 years.
Yeah, 25 years
What
actually.
what what has the history be? I will come back and talk about your list of other games that you played, but why Gran Turismo?
I've always been crazy about driving. Like it's been my passion ever since I was probably strong enough to walk. I've had a thing for cars. I've had a thing
Mm-hmm.
for fast cars, fast driving. It's just my thing. So along the journey, amongst other games I played, I think at the end of '97, I I visited my best friend, and he just gotten a new PlayStation. And one of the games that came as a demo with it was Gran Turismo. I think you could pick about one or two tracks, and you could pick out four cars or something. And I
Mm-hmm.
played it. And the level of realism, especially with the replays, was what got me hooked. So we went all out to make sure that we're going to find the full game And we managed to find it. And then we started playing it and completing it, and it's followed through
Amazing.
every single release of Gran Turismo since 1997 is something that I've played to completion.
Amazing. 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 Okay. So, what has inspired you to pursue, let's say, a career? You were in the Conquest, you were in other tournaments as well. And my question to you now is, what has really inspired you to um, I, I won't say it's a career now for you because the other things I probably wouldn't say there's a career drive now in esports in Ghana, but definitely people have you will want to push into that. What is inspiring you to continue in this trajectory?
Okay, my goal for several years now has been singular. It's to put Africa on the gaming map globally. That's why I do what I do, because I'm African, I've grown up here, and I believe that I have some level of talent. And there are so many people who are way more talented than me, so many talented people who are not able to showcase what they can do because of all the dynamics, the infrastructure, and all those things. But I found that with what I do, it creates a unique opportunity to showcase what we are doing here and what we can do to bring value not only to ourselves but to the world out there, and show them that, yeah, Africa, we've got what it takes to be on top.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, neat. The we've had conversation about the future of sim racing in Ghana. Um, what is what is your future aspiration for sim racing in Ghana?
I want to get the corporate people involved to show them that with sim racing we can provide more value for their investment into the esports space
Mm-hmm.
because of things like the branding and so on. So it's to say we can provide more for you than just putting your logo on a flyer and mentioning you in an ad or something. We can actually put your brand right there in the video games and hit a new demographic of people that haven't tapped into this phenomenon yet.
Okay, okay. I mean, this the pictures rolling on the screen is an inspiration of what you're trying to drive. I know we've spoken about local content. Share with us your passion. I mean, you've spoken about it, but I want you to retrace the impact of branding, in-game branding with sim racing.
Okay. So recently I was in a conversation with Aram from Letty Arts,
Hmm.
and I was playing Sweep, and I was inspired by his use of the Dinkra symbols and so on. I just thought it gave it a really authentic Ghanaian feel.
Yeah,
And you know that I'm always trying to push Ghana at the forefront of
yeah.
everything. So I was thinking about, I was like, if he's pushing the country using the branding, and I'm also doing stuff that is branding related, and I want to make sure that Ghana is visible, what's one of the best ways I can do it? So I was thinking, okay, let me play around with the Adinkra symbols a bit because they are unique. They are unique to Ghana,
Yeah.
and so let me play around with it a bit, research into it a bit, and then try to create some designs that will create a connection between our people here who are familiar with the science and also to demonstrate our culture to the wider world out there. So that's what has led to the Idinkra side of things. And moving forward, I'm going to be incorporating more and more Idinkra designs into the liveries that I do and the clothing and the helmet stuff and all of that. I intend to include that so that Ghana will become very prominent in my work.
This is like a Ghana agenda. Ghana into
Surely,
the sim racing agenda. You-
surely.
I see you do. a lot of leverage, and you use the word grip. What is grip?
The Ghana Racing Initiative project. It's a sim racing initiative that we started. Crazy, you know about it, I believe.
You are here today, so you are the one that's you need to tell us the grip agenda. What is grip?
GRIP is an initiative by the Esports Association of Ghana and its member partners who are involved in sim racing to put sim racing on the forefront and get more and more people involved in the space. Because one of the greatest things about sim racing is the skills that are acquired from it can be transferred directly to real life.
Yeah,
75% of how I drive today comes from playing around with simulators for about the last 30 years or so.
amazing,
So
amazing.
the idea is to get the young people who are interested in racing in Formula One and so on, get a space for them where they can train, they can practice and compete with each other. And then we're going to weed them out, pick the best of them, and try and get some go-kart tracks that they can get started on and see if we can export some of them to the wider world because we have very, very, very talented racers here. And this is just a seed project to see if we can also grow and export people for motorsports worldwide.
Oh, you made the word talented. What I mean, but with talent comes challenges. What has been the challenges? What has been the challenges in with sim racing? I know you're a community manager for the Esports Association. With that comes a tall responsibility of putting players together, getting sim races into tournaments, setting up, for events and stuff like that. But what has been our biggest challenge in moving the sim racing community in Ghana?
I think that because sim racing, like traditional motorsports, is it's expensive. If you're
Yeah.
going to do proper sim racing, it's expensive. The equipment is expensive, and so I think the biggest challenge has to do with logistics. The
Hmm.
logistics are the biggest challenge that we faced so far. Another thing is the community. A lot of the people that we start with, because they're relatively young, they they're in it for a bit and then they have to go and focus on school and so on. But I've tapped into some new communities recently, and I hope to be pulling in some new faces and some new talent into our space. It's looking very promising.
Programming. Oh, I mean, what kind of program are we looking for this year? I know I'm the president. I should be talking about this, but um, we last year we didn't do we did a quite a bit of an activation, but this year we haven't really cemented. um I spoke to you about having a sim racing month last year,
Yes,
and
yes.
I'm hoping that we can initiate that this year. What are your plans? What are your thoughts? What can we do with sim racing community this maybe Q2? Q1 has already gone, so maybe Q2, Q3, Q4. I mean, ways by which any activation in a school, collaboration with some international guys. What do you have in your crystal ball for us?
Well, I'm still working on the preset thing. We're starting next week, so that is one activation I believe will give us some visibility. And once we clear that, the other schools will come after us.
Definitely. And I believe that activation is really gonna be super exciting. Um, and I'm looking forward to that activation as well. Okay, Ning. Um, there's a question that I wanted to I want to okay, we're going back to, I mean, video games itself. There's a perception that parents think that video games are evil and bad and makes makes kids wayward and stubborn and drop out? What are your thoughts?
I think it's just largely due to cultural misconception and misunderstanding about the space. Because I don't think there's anything anybody can say or do to sway my mind off the video gaming space. This is what I do full time. I consider everything else I do as secondary. It doesn't matter how big it is. It doesn't matter how much money it brings me. That
Hmm.
isn't what drives me. It's just a support for what we're doing. Because without single-mindedness on this project, we won't be able to achieve the lofty goals that we've set for ourselves. So
Amazing.
it's a 1,000% thing that we're doing with this at the moment,
You
and we're
have
not.
kids, like I have kids. What's it like to, talking about esports and gaming at home?
My kids have taken the spirit and they are proper gamers. I mean, proper.
They
Sometimes
are
I'm there
proper
and they tell
gamers
me,
than you.
I'm telling you, sometimes I'm there and they tell me, look, my son was teaching me how to play Injustice.
Oh
He was
wow.
telling me, no, you have to wait. When you press this, you wait a second, and then you hold this button down, and then you press this. No, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you how to do it. And this guy is like 7 years old.
Whoa.
And I'm talking to him, he's like, no, wait. When you choose this person, you do this, you do that, you do that. And I think because they grew up watching me play games, they've picked up on it. And so the kind of games that they're able to start from scratch, games that I haven't played, I've probably just downloaded for them. They'll start the game, they will complete the game without my input. Sometimes they'll just play together in a collaborative effort, or they'll play one after the other. But it's helped them to build. It's helped the way they think, how they approach problem solving, how their cognitive skills work, their spatial awareness of their environments with all the 3D games, like something like knack. knack
Yeah.
taught them knack taught them a lot about space, about how to manage the space around them, because when you throw something you have to make sure it's in the right direction and all of that. So I have quite the challenge on my hands because we're always at it, and they're always like, "You play too much Gran Turismo. We want to play other things."
Yeah, the Gran Turismo is much more, but the good thing about even Gran Turismo in sim racing is that it lends itself to STEM as in engineering. Yes, but that's what a lot of people don't see. That can you elaborate a little bit on that for us?
So, for instance, Sony and Polyphony Digital, who make the Gran Turismo series, they've created an AI called Sophie, and Sophie
Okay.
is the world's first self-driving AI.
Whoa.
So,
Oh
so
wait,
what
wait,
Sophie?
wait, 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 wait. Wait. Before you blow up this one, go back. A gaming company partners with eh, okay, you go on. I caught the revelation fast.
Polyphony is a subsidiary of Sony.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So for all these years that we've been doing Gran Turismo and playing and so on, especially for those of us that play online, what they've been doing is they harvest our data. So we do a race, and every single input you're doing, how the lines that you take when you're driving, when you're overtaking, and all of that, per the rules and all that of the sport, is fed into the AI. The AI picks it up, and then when you're up to race with it, it adjusts its level and monitors how you race, and then it adapts to how you race to help you to improve as a racer. So if you are
Amazing.
overly aggressive, Sophie will be overly aggressive with you.
Wow.
But the whole idea is to help you to become better. Now, the thing about Sophie is that when they first released Sophie, the top racers in the world in Gran Turismo were defeated by three of the cars. There were four AI cars in the race.
Whoa.
Only one of them was defeated by a human. The other three just wiped them out.
Wow.
So when they take this kind of data and they feed the data into the models for self-driving cars, they they are programmed to have an innate understanding of how to drive and what the safest practices are and all of those things. So when self-driving cars are rolled out en masse, there'll be a huge database for them to tap from and to use to make the road safer for us.
And this is because of one particular game. This has really pivoted coming from the gaming space, right?
Yes, it has.
Amazing. This is amazing. This is
Then there
amazing.
are other aspects like the engineering part, because the data that we get for the cars that we use comes from the manufacturers.
Hmm.
And the variation between the real life car in terms of specifications, handling, and all of that, there's usually maybe about a 1 to 3% difference
Hmm.
in the virtual and the physical. And with our guys, MFT, the
Yeah,
Motors Formula Team,
MFT. Yeah,
yeah. MFT sometimes do their setups in game and then they take it out on the track to test it to see how it will correlate.
amazing, amazing. So the thing with sim racing is that the technology in the video game is so applicable in the real world scenario.
Straight away, straight away. I mean, I started doing this stuff in the 90s and I've been driving since then. And most of my driving comes from my experience with all this sim racing, all this close calls. And, with Gran Turismo, the thing is that you have to get a license in order to race. And
Okay.
there are a series of license tests, about 50 of them.
50.
Yes,
Just to in game.
in game.
Wow.
There are five different licenses, and each license comes with a set of 10 tests that you have to complete. So you have a license B, a license A, an international B license, an international A license, and then there's what you call the super license. The super license is usually what the Formula One guys and so go for in order to be able to race in F1. So
Okay.
virtually, we learn what they learn, and
Hmm.
then we take it out onto the virtual track. But you need to have their understanding. You need to understand the rules of the sport. You need to understand how to drive the cars, how to set them up. So there's some aspect of engineering involved because you
Yep.
can tweak things like even the your shocks and your springs and so on. You can tune all those little things, work on your engine, take out little components, add little components, and mix all kinds of things. Your exhaust. It's very broad. And if you are into cars and motorsports, it's heaven.
Amazing. In fact, I mean, F1 is one of the biggest sports. I mean, most expensive
Yeah,
sports out there. And you see the growing number of fans now, even here locally, where we don't have racing tracks, but I mean, people troop to. I've seen the F1 viewing, and I see how enthusiastic people are. So pivoting on that, building a culture around F1, building a culture around motorsports, esports, and sim racing are perfect inroads, right?
perfect inroads. You're right. It's
Amazing.
it's the key. It's the key to getting those who have more than a casual interest in the sport to get involved in what goes on in there to some degree.
Yeah, yeah, I know Max is not here, but if he's well, yeah, there are situations whereby this sim racing games or these video games are being used to teach drivers, new drivers, especially and isn't it amazing that the gaming is becoming a pivotal part in education, especially in adaptive skill education.
It's it's becoming more and more relevant day in, day out. Because aside from just the sim racing, there are so many other games that teach you things that you can apply to life.
Yeah. Huh?
But with the sim racing, it's just okay. For example, there's these guys called Fanatec. They're a company that produce sim racing steering wheels and so on.
Yep.
They have this particular steering wheel for the BMW, one of the BMW M3 series. That steering wheel can be taken out of the car, put straight on a simulator, and it works perfectly.
Whoa.
Telling you,
Whoa.
it, it was designed to be able to be used on the Fanatec sim racing setup. And then it has a quick release button. You take the button off, you move to your BMW with it, plug it in there, and you're good to go. I've seen the video of that thing, and it's crazy.
Crazy. As you earlier said, sim racing is not a child's play when it comes to spending the equipment to get. But here in Ghana, you what's your minimal setup like? Console, PC. What has it been for you like?
Console,
Console,
controller, console
gaming
and controller.
monitor, TV. What?
Well, I'd just say minimal. Just get a TV, get a PlayStation, and you're good to
Kickstart
go.
from there. So that is an
Yeah,
entry level for anybody to be
yeah,
in there.
yeah.
But
It's one
currently,
of the reasons.
Gran Turismo 7 is almost like $70 or something like that.
Like 59, 60, yeah, thereabouts, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, if you are listening, well, you need like 700 Ghana cedis to play the
And
game. Man,
and a
that's
lot
not
of a
cheap.
lot of a lot of a lot of data. You need about 120 gig of space.
Oh, damn, that one too. That one too. And 100 gig of data will cost you probably like 200 or 250 Ghana cedis together.
There's something thereabouts.
So roughly, you're looking at to play this game. If you are buying, let's say, digital code, and then the download, then don't forget that you need PSN. you need you need PSN Plus. To a month of that is almost like $15 or so. So
Yes, I'm not.
yeah, it's not cheap to be a gamer. Oh.
Yeah, it's easy to watch from the outside and think, oh, these guys, they are just playing, they're not serious. No, it's a whole industry on its own. Usually, when people start saying, when people ask me, what do you do? And I tell them, okay, I play video games for a living, they just dismiss it. And then I ask them that, do you think the people at Sony who create the video games for all your kids to play that makes you think it's a kid's game? Do you think the executives at Sony are children?
They are not.
We,
Wow.
we are involved in the biggest industry.
Mhm.
We are bigger than Hollywood.
Mhm.
We are bigger than the music industry.
Mhm.
Probably the only thing that is bigger than us is the food industry.
Yeah.
But we are holding a segment of the world that hasn't fully realized its potential. And post lockdown, I am more convinced than ever that this thing will continue to grow and blow up
Yeah.
because you don't know when the next pandemic is going to come. And if and when it does come, those of us who live virtually, we're ready for it. We're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. What I mean, um, what has it been like for you? Let's talk about tournaments. You've won a couple of tournaments. What has it been like for you?
The very first one, I needed for my own validation, the conquest. I needed to win that thing to prove to myself that I was on the right path.
Yeah.
And that has made the biggest difference for me. I think my confidence would have taken a really big hit if I hadn't won that one.
Oh
After
wow.
that, I'm telling you, everything subsequently has been a plus. But I needed that for myself. I needed to make that happen, especially when running up against somebody like Aram.
Okay. Okay.
But it's boosted me, and it's given me more of them to do more things than to experiment more with the space and to keep pushing until the dream materializes, which is what we're
Okay.
about.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Need let give us. You know, I know there are other racing titles. It's for somebody who doesn't know about sim racing and who want to enter into sim racing. Give us some titles apart from Gran Turismo, or you can give us maybe like five racing games they can kickstart with.
There's Assetto Corsa, Assetto
Okay.
Corsa, Assetto Corsa Competizione. There's iRacing.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't include Need for Speed. Need for Speed is too arcade. It's
But then, I mean, they could always start with
But
some.
if
I
they're
mean,
just racing, if they're just racing titles and they want to have fun, there are games like Need for Speed and so on that
that.
they can. Yeah,
What about
Dead Team,
this game? This game. What's the name?
Trackmania,
Something Club.
Drive,
Some.
Midnight
Yeah,
Club Drive Edition.
Midnight Club was cool, and then also Blair. You know, I love
Yeah,
Blair. I want to do
yeah,
tournament
we
on
talk
Blair
about
Club.
there. And then
Yeah.
there's Trackmania. Trackmania also has very good physics. It looks like a child's game, but the physics are incredible.
Yes, and it's probably used in Europe for a lot of esports. I've seen their championship is not that
It's
Charlie
no
easy.
joke.
It's not joke.
It's no joke. It's no joke.
Yeah.
I downloaded it recently. I've been playing it quite a bit. It's very challenging because
Mhm.
if you don't understand what a driving line is,
Yeah.
you're going to struggle with it. Because the more you race, the more you realize that you there are parts of the road where you need to drive on in order to get the finest line through and all of that.
Mhm.
But if you don't have that mindset, you keep on playing and going over and over and over, and you will not achieve what it is because that understanding isn't there. But when you follow a sport like Formula One and so on, and you realize how they race and you follow it quite a bit, then you begin to realize that there are ways to approach a track. There's a way to approach a corner. There are sometimes it's not even about braking hard. Sometimes it's about you just take your foot off the accelerator a bit so the car slows down so you can handle it better and rotate it.
Mhm.
And the trick is you need to go slower in order to go faster.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah. So,
But
for instance,
this is a power code. You need to go slower to in order to move faster. Damn. Uh, and I can see some nuggets in there. Anyway, all right. We want to go for a short break. When you come back, we'll watch some of the videos that Nia has put together. But before then, I mean, take a look at this wonderful event we had at the Accra Mall Food Court. It was the grand final for the Accra Esports Week. We'll be right back.
Six good days of competitive gaming, socialization, seminars, and many more. The maiden edition of Accra Esports Week came to an end at the Accra Mall Food Court. The Accra Esports Week was brought to you by Pop Out and Esports Academy in partnership with Esports Association of Ghana, Joy Prime, and My Joy Online. The Events saw top esports athletes in Ghana compete on the final stages in various video games such as FIFA 23, eFootball, NBA 2K23, and Frozen, with over 20,000 Ghana cedis in pot prizes.
Hi, welcome to the VGA Esports Show, and it's amazing how we've all gathered here today for the Accra Esports Week. Since Monday, we've been bringing you back-to-back esports action. It's been non-stop from every genre of gaming you can think of, and I'll be speaking to a few people to get their views on what the week has been like. I've got my first person here, Vespa.
Hi.
How has the week been?
Wow, it's been terrific. It's been exciting. It's been something I haven't witnessed yet. I may want to call it unprecedented. Of course, it's the biggest ever esports experience in Africa, comprising over 12 games. In fact, it's been exhilarating, and I really had fun with this.
What are you expecting from a final? Do you expect it to be as good as it was, or even better?
Now, this final is going to be crunch, trust me. I mean, particularly with the FIFA, we are going to be playing from the quarter-final stages, and trust me, all those final 8 players, they are tough. They are among Ghana's best, Ghana's favorites. There's the big ups in there, there's Prince Jonas in there, there's Sule Habib. The only person missing out is the only Wonder Kid, but it looks like right now he wants to retire into, some legendary status, so we'll excuse him. But of course, with NBA, we have 2 of the best in the country. We have DT coming up against Terry, and of course the sim racing super races right there. So in fact, we are poised for a lot of action today. I'm just reserved, waiting to see how the energy will rise up very soon when we kickstart.
All right, and welcome back to the show. It's me, Kwesi Hayford, and my handle is Kwesi Hayford _ on Twitter, and you can follow all of us, our handles also at Talk to Me on Instagram, Talk to Me on Twitter, and also at Quarcoopome on LinkedIn. You can also follow me on LinkedIn as well. Just search for Kwesi Hayford, and then also you can follow Accra Esports Week on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and as well as on YouTube here. If you are watching this later, like and subscribe. Leave your comments under the video as well. Okay, all right, so we're back to the show. We are here with Talk to Me, the most celebrated sim racing guy in Ghana. And when you come to sim racing, there is something we call in-game branding. He's been taking it to the next level. A lot of stuff that he's done, you may probably have no idea. He has under him, I would say, more than 200 videos of libraries. Only how many videos or how many libraries have you done?
Liveries about 700.
700. Damn, the guy has been working. And this has not been a work of, let's say, one day, And this part of sim racing that you can brand the cars in there, and I believe that it's an area that hasn't been touched. So apart from being a racer, there's that other part of you that designs the branding of the cars in the game, which is also another skill set altogether, right?
That's right.
Talk to us about it. How did you discover this? Because some people have been racing the games, but having come to know that, okay, I can change the color of the tie, I can put the logo, and how has it been like for you?
Okay, so when I got into Gran Turismo initially, I fell in love with the race cars and the liveries of the cars. And as far back
What
as
is
then,
wait? Your
okay,
English is too big for us. What is liveries or liveries? What are they?
a livery is basically the design of a race car,
Okay.
the branding that is put on a race car. So you look at a Formula One car, you see the sponsors with their logos on it and so on in
The
different parts.
color.
The color, all the things that go into the visual aspect of the car.
Okay.
All those things go into it.
Including the
So,
driver's suit and all that.
including the driver's seats, their helmets, all that goes into it. I work on all of those, and I try to make them correlate with the brand. So I pick a brand, I do a lot of color mixing to make sure I get the shade and the tone of the colors right. So I mix around with it a bit, and then I tweak it. It's like you're doing 3D modeling on a certain scale, because you can stretch the elements that you're using and shrink them and enlarge them, and you can play around with them in so many ways.
This
And
is, let people understand that this is within the game.
this is what I use, the same PlayStation controller that the guys used to play FIFA for. That's what I used to do this.
Oh, so
Between
you're
that,
using a controller to do a design.
yes, I use the controllers to do the designs.
Amazing.
I do it
Amazing. I was
right.
people would think that, oh, you use a mouse, you bring it out onto a PC and put all those logos on them and stuff like that.
No, no, no. So I do part of the work on my phone. Like, there's a logo that I want to use. I'll get the logo down on my phone, process it and everything, then I upload it. Then I download it on the PlayStation, and then I do the rest of the designing. So every is done using a normal controller with the analog sticks and so on. That's how I get it done.
Wow.
It's all
Wow.
it's all it's all within the setup and the scope of the game. No other computer stuff or anything needed. Just live.
Need tell us how many brands, okay, have you worked on? Can you even remember?
I've lost count. I've lost count. There's always something new. There's always something new that I'm doing.
Okay. Are you seeing what I'm showing? Can you tell
Yes.
us a bit about this?
So there's this very very famous Formula One racer. He died in 1994 in a crash. His name was Ayrton Senna, and
Okay.
I was playing around with a BMW concept in Gran Turismo, and I was reading up on Senna and his life at the time, and I thought it would be nice to do a tribute car to Senna and
Okay.
incorporate it into a kind of advert at the same time. So after I put the Senna branding on it, I just decided, let's run this thing and just tell people welcome to the new BMW Senna, just to give it a bit of hype. But it's in the same way that we can take other brands and put them in there and showcase their special editions of the cars. And if
This
somebody
is
wants it,
Conquest.
yeah, this is Conquest. This is this is
Wow.
this is one of the designs I did for Conquest in 2021.
Amazing. And your wings, and as you said, the suit, all the designs and stuff like that. I mean, I can't think about it, but they are nice and they are lovely. And you kind of almost all the time promoting Ghana in your designs.
Who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
We have to do it for ourselves. And I believe in this country, and I believe in us so much that any opportunity I can get to showcase a brand that is familiar to Ghanaians, I take that opportunity. I worked on something today. I haven't sent it to you yet. I'll send it to you after the video. I think it'll bust your mind.
Okay.
It's
All
an area
right.
we've been looking to tap into for a while. I think.
Amazing. 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 There are more videos that I will show. I mean, I will play. I mean, but we keep on. Okay, let's keep on going. Nee, talk to us about. Um. Oh, this is escaping my mind. Um. Let me go back to my note. There's a question of um diversity and inclusion in games, right?
Right.
We haven't found a lot of ladies in sim racing. Is it because men love cars and women don't? What's the issue there?
I think um, primarily motorsports tend to be a male dominated area, but
Hmm.
I know some really really excellent women drivers. Some of them are participating in things like the 24 hours of Le Mans and so on. And they may not be too many, but there's a whole women's formula series that they're working on. They used to be called the W series. They cancelled it last year. And here in Ghana, we don't have too many ladies who are involved in sim racing, but I believe that as we grow the space and we get more and more sponsors involved, it will attract interest. Plus, we could create a special series just for the ladies so they can get up to speed on it. Fortunately, because it's gaming, we don't need to have segments where this is
Hmm.
male only, female only. It's gaming. So if you're capable and you're competent, I think it will provide room for some people's talents to really shine. Even because Debbie was telling me that she wanted to learn. Debbie was telling me she wanted to learn sim racing, and I'm all up for it. If we can get maybe about 8 or so ladies and commit to training
To
them,
training them.
we can make some major headway.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, and there's this video I want us to watch. This one. What's the story behind this one?
Okay, so this is a time trial on Gran Turismo. It's currently running, and you're supposed to finish the track within a certain amount of time. When it came up, I hadn't really done a design for this car, but that was when I was just getting into the whole Idinkra thing. So I decided that let me
Hmm.
put some Idinkra branding on it and take it for a race, see how it looks, and then we'll play around with it a bit. So that's what inspired this one. So it's just Idinkra designs, the Idinkra symbols, and so on that I just used to make the livery. And the driver's gear, the clothing, the helmet, and everything also incorporates the Idinkra designs all over it. So whichever way the camera picks its angles from, Ghana is
Okay.
right there. Idinkra is right there in your face.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think there is supposed to be another. Um. Let me see. Another. Oh, okay. This is Bell Aqua.
Yeah, this is the new Bella.
When I look at a lot of the things that you've done, you tell us what different categories of libraries or branding in-game branding have you done? Because I know you've done politics, drinks. You tell us.
I deal with anything that comes to mind. Anything that comes to mind. I've done Frytol, I've
Oh
done
wow.
Nido, I've done Nido, like the Nestle products, I've done Golden Tree chocolate and so on. Generally, I like to go after things that when somebody who lives in Ghana sees them, they can relate immediately.
Okay. Okay. This is mobile. This is so we said this is for the academics. Ah,
Yeah, that,
yeah.
that one was done for my school.
Yeah. I know. We have one for pre-sec, so let me show that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you do this, then you take them on the tracks to race with them as well. So the visibility. Imagine playing this and in the virtual world, this is exposed to millions of people who are also playing the game, not only you alone.
That's the whole idea. Because the races that I do are online with real people in different parts of the world, and everybody
Hmm.
gets a copy of the replay. of the race. So
Oh, okay.
they can go, they can look at the designs and so on. And I upload the liveries that I do so that anybody who sees them, who has an interest in them, can download them and use them as well. So it's not something that I do that's exclusive to me. It's something that's done so that other people can also get involved and share it and use it and so on. And one of the things that I've been trying to do, but without a great degree of success so far, I think probably has to do with how I've organized things myself, is to have all of our tournaments to use liveries that have been created specifically for the tournament.
Yeah.
So we get people who are involved in it. You tell them, okay, download this, download this. If you're racing, once we get to know who's racing what, we can create custom liveries for each participant. And so for an instance where we have maybe like 8 corporate sponsors for an event, each sponsor can have their own livery on the car and reward the winner who uses their livery to maybe with an internship or some sponsorship or so on, to also help them improve themselves. That's one of the things I'm really looking at pushing this year.
Me, controller versus actual wheels. Which
Wheels.
one? Which one would you go for?
I would go for a controller for myself because probably for the last 20 plus years, I've become comfortable with a controller. What I do with a controller, a lot of people don't believe.
Okay.
But to get the fullest experience of it, a wheel and pedal setup is necessary. Because I think because I've been at this for so long, my understanding of it and my ability to adapt to a controller comes from my mental understanding of how the whole racing thing works.
Uh-huh.
But even with that, after my first time using a wheel and pedal setup, that was last year. After my first time, I picked up certain things from the wheel and pedal setup that I have transferred to my controller playing as well. So, for instance, how hard you step on the accelerator correlates with how hard you actually press the R2 trigger on the controller, and it reflects in how the car performs and handles.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all those little bits that come together. But ultimately, if you're going to be competitive and you want to play at the highest level, you can't do that with just a controller. You have to get a wheel and pedal setup.
You have to eventually move to the
You
real
do.
racing wheel.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Wow. All too soon we're coming to the very close of our of our interview with Nee. But you could see the kind of work he has done. He's done everything and everything. So in fact there were some other videos that is a bit, I would say it's more for you to say a bit political, but you know, we don't
Show
want to
them.
be we don't want to, but at least you saw the one with MTN and Vodafone in there telling you that we've done everything. So we've done NDC MPP. I wish I could show you that, but let me see if it's on the list here. um but but I won't show it to you because I want you to go and follow Nee's Instagram account and then also his YouTube account. All the videos are there. Check them out. You want more content. And then Nee, before we go, Darkhorses Esports. First thing, how did you get the name? What's the inspiration for Darkhorses Esports?
Okay, so in horse racing, a dark horse is a contender who enters a race who isn't really favored to win,
Mm-hmm.
not really a known contender, but by surprise they manage to overcome everybody, overtake and take the race win. And I've been using dark horses as a self-expression for probably about 15 years or so,
Okay.
because I've always considered myself to be an underdog with the potential to win and to change things, and that's what inspired the name.
Amazing. So what's the future for Dark Horses? What are you looking out for?
There's there's a lot of things at play at the moment. I'm actually in discussions with a couple of people who want to sponsor some crazy tournaments for us by the end of this quarter. So I've been working quietly with them, and probably in at the end of June we'll be ready to do our very first tournament. We're looking at getting people to travel outside to go for the Monaco Sim Racing World Finals. I hope that this year the guys I get can actually deliver, and then we'll take it up from there.
Amazing. Let's talk about your wins. It seems as you've been winning. How many wins under your belt now?
As of today, 235 on Gran Turismo 7.
Wait a minute. Gran Turismo 7 came out last year, right?
Yeah, yeah, March last year.
Oh my. So
I,
if you
I
could see, if viewers, if you seeing these are end wins, like victories, right? The guy doesn't play; he's playing the game and making it out there. So you could see all this. Neil, what's next for you? For you in driving for personally for you?
One of the key things I want to do is to bring in more sim racing peripheral sponsors over here.
Great.
I was working on that with a couple of people. The talks stalled, but we are reactivating them, and I want to get the guys that do the peripherals, the wheels, the pedals, and so on. We want to get them to give us some support, because if they can give us support, we can give them visibility. We can put them on as sponsors. We can add them to our list of branding sponsors for all the events that we do. We can put their logos and things on the cars and talk about how they also facilitate us to pursue the dreams of making this thing accessible and available to everybody. It's one of the main things that I'm working on.
Amazing. So, I mean, it's been a wonderful chatting with you. But there are some funny and crucial questions that I ask my guests when they come on the show. It's not only sim racing that you play. You play other games as well, right?
Right.
Adventure games. What other games do you? Is it um, strategy, RPG? What games do you really look into when you are not playing? Just say Gran Turismo.
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, CJ. All
I
right.
mean, I've been playing Grand Theft Auto since the very first time,
Oh wow,
and then
amazing.
I do Spider Man. I do God of War. I I play most other titles. I just don't do the football and all that. But
Okay.
but I play a lot of adventure games, a lot of adventure and fighting games. I like adventure and fighting. So
Tekken,
think
Street
Tekken,
Fighter.
Street Fighter, Injustice, um, Virtua Fighter, Dynasty Warriors, those things. Yes, I
Yeah.
play I play those a bit, and then I
This is.
play
Oh, go
the
on, go on.
multiplayer. I play the multiplayer games
Call
with
of
my
Duty,
kids. I don't play Call of Duty.
Battlefield.
I don't do first person shooters.
Okay. I got you.
I don't.
Okay. Name
I
the
had I
last
used
the
to play
last
first person
question.
shooters.
The last question is the most funniest question, but it's also one of the interesting questions that I always ask people. Um, if you're supposed to be in a video game as a character, what game will you be and what character?
Kratos, God of War.
I knew that was coming. Kratos, God of War. It seems everybody loves God of War. God of War will stay with us for the next 50 years. I'm telling you. They, it,
It's a brilliantly executed game.
yeah,
Brilliant, brilliant. And that the level of challenge in it is just the right amount. Especially when you're having a really hard time defeating one
hmm
of the Valkyries or something. It's challenging. It forces you to get your fingers moving as quick as your brain is.
yeah.
And I think one of the biggest pluses I have had from gaming has been the fact that I got my job as a video switcher because I had a background in gaming.
Wow, wow.
So yeah, the guys that trained me asked me, "Do you play video games?" And I told them I'm a killer at video games. They're like, "You'll be fine. You'll be okay."
You'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll be
And
okay.
it's proven to be true. So
Yeah,
there's the
yeah.
peripheral skill sets that come from it.
Amazing. So I want to say, Nee, thank you so much. It's been wonderful hanging out with you. We hope to
Thank
see
you
you
so
again
much.
maybe another time. And then
Definitely.
to our viewers, thank you so much for hanging out with us as well. If you're watching this after this, thank you for watching. And we always know that follow the stream. This event is brought to you, or this show is brought to you by Pop Out Esports Academy in association with the Esports Association, Joy FM, like Joy Online, Pre Province, Otium Game Hub, Motherland Gaming, and also the Esports Federation, Ghana Esports Federation, as well as being a supporting hand. And it's been joy coming your way again. Check out our next guest speaker. We know we bring it to you too late, but at the end of the day, all we want to do is to create the content, create the discussion, create the storylines. And the wonderful thing about the stories that we're sharing today is that it will be here for years to come, even when we are dead and gone. It will be there for people to come and get. Me, that wonderful thing about God of War is also the storyline.
It's really nice how they pivoted it from the whole Greek setting and they
Yep.
put it in a Norse setting, and now they've got other Norse mythological figures like Thor and so on involved in the game. It's really sweet to see that there's been that transition, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next God of War has an Egyptian setting or something. It's interesting
I'm
how they do.
I'm wondering you know, the stories now with technology they can build in every environment as possible, and I'm thinking in the years to come we'll have a God of War setting in Africa. That's gonna
We
be,
will
you
really,
know,
really if they will do it, we'll create our own
we'll
storylines.
create our own. All right, guys, it's been a wonderful hanging out with you all. And then check out our next content. There are other speakers that have come on. Check out the videos, watch them, like them, comment on them. If anything, you can always send me a DM and on my social as well. Go out and go and check out on me on Darkhorses Esports on Instagram, and also talk to me at on Instagram. And then follow their YouTube page, Darkhorses. All right. So until next time again, you know what time is it? It's game time.
Six good days of competitive gaming, socialization, seminars, and many more. The maiden edition of Accra Esports Week came to an end at the Accra Mall Food Court. The Accra Esports Week was brought to you by Pop Out and Esports Academy in partnership with Esports Association of Ghana, Joy Prime, and My Joy Online. The The event saw top esports athletes in Ghana compete on the final stages in various video games such as FIFA 23, eFootball, NBA 2K23, and Frozen, with over 20,000 Ghana cedis in pot prizes.
Hi, welcome to the VGA Esports Show, and it's amazing how we've all gathered here today for the Accra Esports Week. Since Monday, we've been bringing you back-to-back esports action. It's been non-stop from every genre of gaming you can think of, and I'll be speaking to a few people to get their views on what the week has been like. I've got my first person here, Vespa.
Hi.
How has the week been?
Wow, it's been terrific. It's been exciting. It's been something I haven't witnessed yet. I may want to call it unprecedented. Of course, it's the biggest ever esports experience in Africa, comprising over 12 games. In fact, it's been exhilarating, and I really had fun with this.
What are you expecting from a final? Do you expect it to be as good as it was, or even better?
Now, this final is going to be crunch, trust me. I mean, particularly with the FIFA, we are going to be playing from the quarter-final stages, and trust me, all those final 8 players, they are tough. They are among Ghana's best, Ghana's favorites. There's the big ups in there, there's Prince Jonas in there, there's Sule Habib. The only person missing out is the only Wonder Kid, but it looks like right now he wants to retire into, some legendary status, so we'll excuse him. But of course, with NBA, we have 2 of the best in the country. We have DT coming up against Terry, and of course the sim racing super races right there. So in fact, we are poised for a lot of action today. I'm just reserved, waiting to see how the energy will rise up very soon when we kickstart.
Ha 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 ha!